Hello, comic book guys and gals, and welcome to Comic Mag Musings Live. This handsome devil is your host, Bill Miller. Very excited because we are doing a support video, a contest entry for Comic Books NYC Road to 1K contest. He's already flown past 1,000 subs, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to get him some more. Let's get him to 1,100, 1,200. So I'm super excited. Let me quickly go over the contest rules for you. You have to be 18 years and older. You need to, he will ship worldwide, so it's open to worldwide participants. You need to be subscribed to his channel, and the channel link should be in the description of this video. It's Comic Space Books Space NYC, Comic Books NYC. You need to like the contest video where he announces his contest. The link for that video is also in the description. And leave a comment in the comment section of that particular video as well. That will earn you one entry into the contest. To earn an additional 3 entries, you need to make a video, share it on YouTube, where you show at least 2 collectibles. They could be comic books, trade paperbacks, statues, sports cards or trading cards, anything that a reasonable person would consider a collectible. You want to tag Comic Books NYC in the video title and let him know that you made the video so that you can get credit for the additional entries. The deadline is February 14th of this year. So plenty of time to do it, but you don't want to procrastinate. You want to go ahead and get it done. So let's take some quick roll. We got the man of the hour, Comic Books NYC, aka Don Dada, aka Kavi. Custom Comic Shop, always good to see you, sir. How are you? Ahoy Catton, one of the participants in the Cover Slingers show on the Gray Man's channel on Saturdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always fun, just a great guy, and he's got a great channel as well. So make sure you check him out. We've got Brandon Novamad 1966. Good to have you in, sir. Not to be outdone by him, we've got Alex Big Blue. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. We've got Slim Comics and More. Sean, how are you? Good to see you, sir. All right, now that we've taken roll, here's what I'm going to do. So I'll give you an overall. I'm going to show a few items. One that I've shown already before, a couple others that I've never shown before. All comic book related, but not comic books. And then we'll have a little bit of chat about some comic related items, and then I'll do a couple unboxings. Nothing big. I know what's in one of them, and it's nothing big. I don't know what's in the other one though. So let's start off with the items that I'm showing. Now this beauty, I made a video of this guy about a year ago, probably. And Mrs. Musing said she wasn't having it, so I couldn't display this. So he had to go back in the box, and he's been hiding in the closet, begging to be seen again. So this is my little Conan. One of 2. I had 2 of them, mini bus. And so I figured it's time to get him out so you can see the light of the day. And he's really given the business to that snake. He's gotten it pretty good already. So I didn't take the other one out, but I did take this one out. And please leave in the comments if you have any suggestions as to how I can slide this onto a bookshelf without getting caught. I've slept on the couch before, But this isn't a good enough reason, I think, to do it this time. So if I can get away with displaying him, maybe like Elf on a Shelf type thing, then that would be cool. So yes, this is Conan. It's number 1011 out of 3,500. So pretty cool. And here is the box in which he came. So this was a Goodwill pickup, like whenever it was, maybe a year. Whenever I made the video, probably about a year or so ago, that's when I got it. All right, what else do we have in here? We've got Lucha, Highly Comic Bro. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Brad Koski, thanks for stopping in. Good to see you as well. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, so that's the one thing I have shown before in a video. Here are a couple of things that I haven't. I got this for Christmas. Didn't show this guy off. So this is cool little man bat. He's my favorite Batman villain. And so Santa brought me this pop figure. So that's pretty cool. I don't have a lot. I have 3 now, and that's probably enough for me. I really don't want to get involved in collecting, adding yet another type of collectible to the list. Jay, good to see you. Over easy mode. And Jay, do you have that Wanda Vision video up yet, sir? All right. Oh, so here's another one. So I used to collect cards a lot, you know, sports cards, trading cards. I've got a bunch, and they just kind of sit in the closet. So a crossover in collecting was comic book cards, right? Comic book trading cards. And so this is Marvel Bronze Age. I don't know who made them or who produced them, I should say. But I'll look through here, and if there's any really cool ones like inserts or chase cards, then I'll show those to you. But this is a look at the base card. And these are pretty cool because they're almost like a throwback design. And my favorite part is the little tidbit of information and the trivia that they put on the back. So I'll go through all the cards and read that, and to me, that's the funnest part. But just like sports cards, I mean, I could do a TED Talk on why people collect sports cards and what the chase sets and the draw is to those, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Here's one. There are several connecting pieces to make a poster. That's pretty cool. It's a regular card, but it's black and white. Like I imagine the art was inside of that, probably magazine. Let's see. So most of the comic book trading cards would have a sketch card included, like one per box, right? And that was the major chase card for the box. Other ones depends on whether it was a card that was commissioned by the publishing company or a card that was commissioned by the movie producer. So like if you had Green Lantern movie that was launched and they produced a set of cards that went along with it, then they would typically have a different they would have different subject material for the cards, and they would have different chase sets. They'd have like movie memorabilia, pieces of a costume in the card, things like that. And the base cards would probably be stills from the movie. So here's one of the Thing. That's a chase card or an insert card. So insert cards are inserted randomly at a certain ratio, and it'll usually tell on the pack what ratio each of the inserts had, one in however many. So there you go. Cool. So there's the sketch card that was included in this one. Got Subby and Wolverine. So that's the back. Interesting. I don't see a signature, and it doesn't say on the back who sketched it. But typically what you can do is you can go and do a little bit of research, and they'll tell you these are the available artists that produce sketch cards for that particular set. Now that's pretty cool. So there's another one. This is a Black Cat, not another one, but another insert. And we have we have Jackson Roy Kirk in the house. Humble bragging, of course, as usual. Sly, good to see you. We've got Dave. Welcome, sir. There's the one like the Thing insert card. It's a small box, so you don't get a lot. But like I said, my favorite part is probably reading the stuff on the back. So those are the only inserts that I had in that one, but pretty cool. So I'll open them up, read the backs of them, and then put them back in the box and store them in the closet. Here is another thing that I got. So these are coasters. Allegedly, from the late 80s through the 90s, these were handed out at the Marvel Studios offices during tours. Not sure if that's true or not, but we needed coasters. And so here's one that gets used a lot. So I went and found some of these coasters, like 3 packs of them. There's what, 4 to a pack. So they're little compressed paper or thin cardboard coasters, but they do the trick, and I figured it'd be fun to, I keep a couple, so I have a couple that I won't use, but I figured it'd be fun to use something that's got a little bit of character to it. So these are the coasters that I use throughout the house. And that is a lot of fruit punch. What is that stuff called? Crystal Light staining there. Another thing that I picked up recently is a Death Dealer army patch. So once upon a time, many, many moons ago, when I was in the Army, I was in 3rd Corps, and 3rd Corps commissioned a statue of Death Dealer to go in front of Corps headquarters. It's pretty cool looking. I never saw it in real life. I was long out of the Army before they ever did that. But I imagine that there are a couple lucky rascals that get to wear this as their unit patch. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the last things I'll share, what are these from? Okay, these are from 2012. So these are repops or remanufactured $6 million man figures. Thought they were pretty cool. I have the original one. There we go. Have him in the space capsule. I have two of those, one at work and one here. But it doesn't have all the pieces to the space capsule. And I figured it'd be cool to have a couple to keep in the box. Supposed to get 3, right? One for display, one for backup, and one to leave in the box. Well, I only got one of each of those. So that is it. Yes, that was a great, ridiculous, over-the-top episode. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. It was a lifetime ago, but I carry the clicking ankle with me every day. Let's see. So Jackson's trying to rain on my parade, claiming that this is not art that was produced specifically for these coasters. How dare he? All right, so the one thing that I want to talk about, we'll have a quick discussion before we move on to unboxing a couple items, and that'll kind of end it for us. I wanted to talk to you about what you collectively miss the most as it's related to comic books and comic book collecting since the pandemic began, through now and until, whenever it ends, I guess, in principle, enough people get inoculated to where some shows, conventions, businesses start opening. For me, it's not a whole lot. I think I've talked about this before, but I don't really go to a regular comic book shop. I might go to, just under normal circumstances, I might go to a comic book shop or an LCS a few times a year. And usually when I go, I just go and look for something specifically, like, do they have $1 comics that I would care to have, or 50-cent comics that I would care to have, or something, do they have magazines, like Warren or Marvel magazines? But other than that, I'm a very specific collector, and so I'm just not interested in a whole lot else that they would have. I think it's great. I think that they're important to have, but all the comic book shops could close, and it probably wouldn't affect me a whole lot one way or the other. So typically I'll go, I don't collect a lot of new comics unless I can grab them for $1 or less a piece. And so that's usually when I'll go to a comic book shop to see if I know of a sale that they're having. And there's one in suburb of Phoenix that has 50-cent bronze. And so sometimes I'll go there and grab some of those. But at some point, I got too many comics, right? So I haven't gone in a long time. And I don't know if I'll be going back anytime soon just to pick up something for the sake of picking it up. I need to start getting rid of things, culling things, and concentrating on the titles and the characters that I'm truly passionate about, instead of saying, oh, it's like in me. If you're a collector, you're a collector. You see something, you're just like, oh, I want that. And so it doesn't matter if it's coins, stamps, comics, action figures. I've collected so much of it over my lifetime. It just so happens that, yeah, exactly. King culling things. So yeah, I think that's a big one, Cobby. I hear a lot just in the YouTube community that people really miss conventions. Again, that wasn't a big thing for me, aside from Phoenix Comic Con. I really looked forward to that every year because that's the only convention I went to. I don't think I'd maybe as a, just to say, been there, done that, I'd go to San Diego, but I'm not good with being crowded in every direction. It's like I need a line of sight exit if if something's going to happen. Otherwise, I feel like claustrophobic. To just be packed in there is uncomfortable for me. And if that lack of comfort lasts long enough, then I have to start thinking, why am I doing this? What's the purpose of this? Plus, just from the things I've heard about San Diego, my big thing is going to panels. And you could wait an hour and a half sometimes in line just to get into a panel. And I'm too old for that stuff. I'm not having that. It's just not my gig. But Phoenix, I do like, and it's gotten pretty big too. I think the last couple have been like 70 to 100,000. And so it's a lot, but nowhere near like a San Diego or New York. It is a big one as well. I think the one in Chicago is pretty big too. But the only two I've been to are Phoenix and Amazing Arizona Comic Con, which used to be in Mesa, again, a suburb of Phoenix. And then they moved to downtown Phoenix. And then I guess that made Phoenix Comic Con feel threatened. So they bullied them around and did some things that were probably not terribly kosher. And Amazing Arizona said it's not worth it. And so I think they moved to Vegas, and they might be in Minnesota or something like that too. They got a couple places, but they're no longer local. There's one in Tucson Comic Con, that I heard is pretty good, but Tucson's like 2.5 hours. And if I'm going to stay the night somewhere in a different city, it probably wouldn't be in Tucson. I would go to another state or something. Plus it's Tucson. So I haven't gone there, but Amazing Arizona, what was great about it is it was very comic book centric. It was very focused on comic books. Like I got to meet Todd McFarlane there, get stuff signed by him, and it was so small, not long lines. You could chat with him for a while, and he's a local guy anyway, so that wasn't a huge thing. He used to have a store in Mesa and Chandler, I think, where he sold his action figures, both comic book related and the sports related ones. But those have since closed down. Who else? Rob Liefeld. Not a big fan, but he was cool enough just talking to him. I think Walking Dead was just coming out when it was in Mesa. And so I don't watch the show, but I've read the comic. The kid who played Carl was there. Robert Kirkman. Someone who played a character called Bicycle Girl. I think it was like a bit part or something. She was there, so Amazing Arizona was a very small, intimate one. It was pretty cool, and it was just mainly focused around comic books. Phoenix is very much a pop culture, much bigger, less comic centric convention. And now it's called like Phoenix I don't know what it's called, like Phoenix Fan Fest or something like that, because San Diego threatened them, claiming that they had copyrighted Comic-Con. Whatever. I just think that they got scared and they didn't want to get in some sort of legal battle with San Diego. So they went ahead and changed their name a couple times. I can't remember. Phoenix Fan Fusion was the first one. Then they changed it to Phoenix Fan Fest, I think, last. Oh my goodness. We've got the Rascal Spider Comics 7 in here. What's going on, Nick? Good to see you. So at any rate, Phoenix I've gone to up until they canceled it last year, probably 10 or so years. That was enough for me just to go to one a year. And I look forward to it mainly because of the panels. They'd have creators on, and then they would have 1 hour, sometimes 2 hour panels. We can go listen to them break down why they made certain decisions, reminisce, tell stories about working with other creators, working on specific issues or titles. It was just great opportunity to kind of get some insight into what made them tick, and it presented an opportunity to let them know that you appreciated them as a creator. It's very cool. So I enjoyed doing that. Plus, they had other fun stuff like they have like Star Wars panels, you know, Game of Thrones panels, you name it. Marvel versus DC, charity art auctions, things like that. So I would mainly go for the panels, see if I can attend as many as possible. Secondarily, I would go and talk to some of the creators and some of the artists, and if they had some affordable original art, I might pick that up. But I rarely ever picked up comic books at a comic convention. Usually I would pick up trades. That's just what I did. And I'd wait until, you know, Sunday, usually right when it was about to close, and look for those $3 to $5 fire sales on trade paperbacks and try to load up. That's just kind of what I did. But so I enjoy that and I miss that. If they went away indefinitely, though, probably wouldn't affect me a whole lot. But I certainly miss the conventions, and probably prioritize them a bit more than I do the local comic book shops. I've never had a pull list anywhere. I've never specifically gone to a comic book shop on New Comic Book Day. It's just not something I've ever done. Generally, the stuff I'm after doesn't come out on New Comic Book Day. And so if I'm ever in a comic book shop, it's because there's a fire sale or because I'm specifically looking for something a bit older that they may or may not have. All right, so what about you guys? What are you missing? I remember chatting with Art Adams. We were talking about Godzilla. He was doing a Killer Man-Thing sketch and signed me a long shot, no charge. How cool is that? That is awesome. Normie Con. That's true. That'd be a cool power to have, wouldn't it? All right, Sly. Yeah, that's true. That was one. I think. Gosh, I can't remember. But there was this small, really tiny little. You can't even really call it comic convention. It's almost like a little comic sale that was in a VFW in Scottsdale, which is another suburb of Phoenix. Gosh, maybe a year and a half ago or so. And it was maybe 15 to 20 different comic book retailers just stuffed into this tiny little room. And it was elbow to elbow. And so I dug in. I found some really cool bronze stuff at this one place for, I think it was $2 a piece. And they were in pretty good shape. So I was digging through there, but it was annoying. I'm too old. My knees are too bad to be doing that for too long, but I did it. Louisville. Is Louisville in Kentucky, Brandon? Or is it Louisville? So Louisville has a convention the last couple of years, but other than that, there are none very close. How big is that? And I assume if that's the only gig in town that you go whenever it's open. Haven't been to San Diego since 2014, but went to the New York Comic Con for 4 straight years. I bet that was fun. I've been to neither. I've been to both cities, but I've been to neither convention. San Diego, obviously, you can drive there in 6 hours from Phoenix. New York, I've been there twice, which was great. Just, you could spend weeks there soaking in all the history. You'd have to hold a gun in my head to live there, but great place to visit. And C2E2, yes, I believe I believe there was a last con video about that, which was fantastic. If you guys haven't seen that, I would recommend you watching it. Really, really good. And that's in Chicago, I believe. I've never been to Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, I know that Sean's been there several times. All right, trying to work my way through this. So Bicycle Girl is in the first episode. Okay. Very cool. I remember a panel. She was in the panel. She was a zombie, I guess. And gosh, I can't remember the kid that played Nick. Not Nick, the kid that played Carl. There you go. He was in the panel too. I remember his dad called him during the panel to check up on him and make sure he did some chores that he was supposed to have done. It was pretty funny. Amazing Las Vegas. That would be cool. I've been to Vegas several times, but never to a comic convention there. All right. I think we're getting pretty caught up. Aha. Then we've got this rascal. What's going on, Unruly? Good to have you, sir. Jackson hasn't been to a convention, Star Black and or comics since 1986. Says he doesn't have good ones in his neck of the woods. I don't think that anyone has any good Star Trek conventions, just by the way. I think you have to have good source material from which to create a good convention. But comic books, I get it, and that's a shame. Sly. Conventions in Montreal are more about cosplay than anything, and dealers up there. Yeah, that's true. I think that's to a certain extent. I think that's becoming universal. That's the way Phoenix Comic Con was. Initially, it was very comic book focused, but as time went on, as they wanted to broaden their appeal and make no make no mistake about it, the people or comic book conglomerations, whether it's a couple local comic book shops or the corporations, there are some that own several different conventions. They do this to make money, which is cool. I think making money is wonderful. That's how you get good things, right? If people aren't motivated to make money, you don't get, people don't take risks, you don't get innovation, any of that stuff. But that being said, keep that in mind, right? They're in business to make money, and they make the majority of their money in two ways: by selling tickets and by selling booth space or table space. And so if they can increase the attendance to their convention, then they'll get more money that way. Plus, they've got a precedent, a history to tell the vendors, hey, we're averaging this many people, so we feel that it's okay to charge this much money for your table or half table or 4-table setup, whatever it is. And so I totally get that, and that's their agenda, and I respect that. I have my own that differs a little bit with that, because in order to do that, there's only so many bills around, right? They have to widen the net and appeal to people that aren't necessarily comic book collectors. And so that would be cosplay, especially manga, anime. You'll see a lot of that. And so you'll see obviously a lot of vendors that cater to those groups, those collectors, those participants. And you'll start seeing a lot of panels that are about that too. So it shrinks, for me, right? It shrinks the pool of potential vendors and panels that I would probably be interested in. Let's see. So yes, I feel your pain on that slide. I think it's probably the same just about everywhere. And I even more so with pop culture, particularly around movies and comic books. So it's cool that the movies and the TV shows are comic book related, but a lot of that's drawing in other people too that wouldn't necessarily be interested in comic books per se. Unruly's never been to one, was going to go to MegaCon last year. Well, hopefully, I suspect we'll have some this year. This is just me, right? I have no idea. I don't have any inside information, but I suspect May through July is when we'll start. Anything that was initially scheduled or typically scheduled, maybe from May forward, has a good shot of probably happening this year. That's just what I suspect. I figure most people that have a desire to be inoculated will probably have done so by that point in time, based on the availability and the organization around it. That's just my guess. Yeah, I think that a lot of comic book fans agree with you, Nick, but most comic convention attendees don't. So if you haven't been to one, there's your warning. Most people don't go for comic books or to get autographs from comic book creators. A lot of people will go to get autographs, but usually from pop culture phenomena, like actors on TV shows and movies, or actresses, or authors, novelists, things like that. You generally don't see long lines, at least in Phoenix, for comic book creators. Sometimes, like Stan Lee came there a couple times, and every time I was like, I'm not going to pay $40 for his signature. That's insane. He'll be here next year. Well, that's the way that goes sometimes, right? But mostly it would be like Jason Momoa, a guy who played an actor who played Aquaman. That's where you'll see the long lines, right? Not for the artist or writer on the Aquaman comic book. So, yeah, I think you probably should. I think everyone who's interested in comic books should probably go just once, just to check out the scene. It is fun to people watch, right? Just to people watch, because there are a lot of people that dress up, which is really cool, because that doesn't detract from what you're trying to do, right? It just adds visual entertainment for you. You see some really cool creative costumes, and some really fun and funny ones as well. So that's a really cool component of it too. But with that increased cosplay, you have a lot of panels and booths that are dedicated to creating costumes, buying costumes, costume contests, things like that. Vancouver Comic Junkie, good to have you in, sir. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. That must be the sexiest brow in the Star Trek universe. Oh, there we go. Get him, Trek fans. Ugh, Star Black, horrible. What else? All we need is to lock him in his room with one tribble. What the heck is a tribble? That I do not know. I'm assuming it's a Star Black character, but I'm not certain. Yeah, you'll see a lot of that. That's for certain. Yeah. Let's see. Books, artists, writers, SIGs, art, meeting up with friends, drinking, food, watching cosplayers, it all blends together. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so usually Phoenix Comic Con would happen on Labor Day weekend, so late May typically, and it would be Friday. No, I'm sorry, it'd be Thursday afternoon, so maybe 4 p.m. Then all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and so I would go all 4 days, and I would drive there each day. Obviously, I live in Phoenix, so. It's maybe, which Phoenix is huge, right? So it's maybe a 45-minute drive for me. But I would go all 4 days. I would almost never meet up with friends. I had a friend from work that was somewhat into comics, at least reading them. And sometimes I would go with him. The last couple of years I hadn't. I'd just go by myself. It would be cool to meet up with people, but just not typically anything I ever did. I rarely, can't say that. I'd usually get a signature here or there, just like if I'm buying somebody's book, because I'm a big believer in supporting local talent. And there's a burgeoning comic book creator community in Phoenix. And so I would usually, you get a lot of pitches for new books. And so if it was somebody local, I might buy their book and then they would sign it because of that. But that's probably, I generally have never gone specifically to get anyone's signature. Food, I'm very regimented. I go at a certain time to a certain restaurant that's a little bit out of the convention. It's like, I want to get out of there. I don't want to buy convention food and wait in a long line. So I'd go, about a mile away, or it's not a mile. It's maybe a third of a mile to a half of a mile away to a restaurant where you have a little bit more breathing room, a little bit better quality food. And yes, watching cosplayers, that's always a hoot. It's fun. It's free entertainment, right? And they're always cool. I'm not one to take pictures, but you always see people taking pictures of them. They're always willing to do that. So I think that's a really fun part of the convention. Just adds to the scene, right? It's like going to a music concert. It's the whole atmosphere. And I think that cosplay is a big part of that atmosphere. It's not my gig, but I'm certainly glad that there are people out there that are passionate about it and that are willing to do it. So. Who is this Stan Lee, by the way? See, right away I would know if it was signed Stan Lee that that's probably not legitimate. But I don't deny that Alex Big Blue probably does do that. My best friend went to San Diego where Jack Kirby was doing his last appearance. He says, I'd see the line, Kirby almost empty. Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the New Image guys. Absolutely. Yeah. That's true. It's a shame because, I mean, it's not a shame that there were long lines for the image artists, right? I say good for them, right? They brought a lot of people into the hobby, into reading comics and into collecting comics. It's just a shame that all those people years later found out how incredible Kirby was when it was too late. I'd say that's the shame. That's the sad part of it. I've noticed most comic book fans are pretty much just really into the movies now, which is fine. Yeah, that's true. They don't need Nick or Bill, or that's why you see such a shift in movies, right? I mean, it's basic psychology. It's not very difficult to understand why there's such a push for getting a lot of females into superhero movies, and getting more diversity in superhero movies, right? Because they don't need this older white person. They don't need to cater to him, because I will probably go to the movie anyways. I'm a bad example because I don't watch a lot of movies, but The few movies I do watch will be superhero movies, and they've sold the ticket to me already. You understand? No matter what they do, and to Nick and to a lot of people in the community, what they want to do is they want to, same thing. They want to expand that net. They want to bring in non-traditional comic book readers, people that haven't traditionally read comic books, and they want to bring them into the movie, right? And so that's why you have a lot of that. Whether you like it or not, that's the reason. It seems to work, right? It's successful, and that's making them money. So it's hard to argue with that. They're gonna sell the ticket to the comic book fan already. They're not worried about that. They're worried about getting the other 90% of the people they need to make this thing profitable into the theater. And they can do that by having a more diverse cast and by having more females in strong leadership roles or parts. And so that's a formula I think that's been working pretty well for them. Yes, smart. Kavi was born at night, but it wasn't last night. I think he knows what he's doing there. If I didn't say hello to you already, Comic Book G-Spot, hello. I've never seen a Star Trek television episode ever. I've seen one Star Trek movie, and that was the one prior to the last one. And I thought it was pretty good, actually. Not great, but it was pretty good. I've just never been, none of the series have ever appealed to me, I guess. It's got one of those signed books. Yeah. Yep. Alex was pumping those books out by that time. He might have gotten sloppy with a couple of them. That's funny. That's right. I think there's a relation there. I bet you will. Alex is hustling. I can't fault him for that. Yeah, I don't watch much television. Like I watch mainly YouTube comic book content. That's probably about it. If any of the local teams are playing, I might watch those from time to time, but and boxing every now and then. But other than that, I just don't watch TV. So I heard, we'll see if Jay, if Over Easy Mode is going to put out a WandaVision review, then I'll check that out to see what it's all about. But I heard it's throwback, and I heard I've heard mixed reviews on it. So we'll see. Now the boss watches a lot of television. I think she watched the first episode and was kind of meh about it. So Illuminati, yeah, exactly. So Sly says TV Star Trek is much better than movie Star Trek. But the issue I have with that, Sly, is that D. Jackson Roy Kirk is a huge fan of the Star Trek TV show, and so I have to question how good it could actually be. Leonard Nimoy was his favorite 25 years ago. He was very approachable, and he had a drink with him. Excellent. That's pretty cool. I think the Jackson Roy Kirk had a drink with him once, and Leonard Nimoy woke up like 12 hours later with a really bad headache and his wallet missing. Don't quote me on that, but that's what the police blotter said. What do we got? I should have swiped his napkin. Yes, you have derailed the show with this Star Black talk. All right. So on that note, let's do a couple unboxings. So we've got this guy, and I know what it is. I don't know exact issues, but it's a couple comic books. Nothing big. but we'll see what we got. All right, so we got some paper, free of charge. And some bubble wrap. These are raw books. Nothing outstanding, but a pretty good price. Just over $1.40 each. A little bit under $1.50 a piece. So we've got The Walking Dead, number 177. I don't know where I'm going to put these. Should probably move this stuff. There, that works. We've got 175. $176. $173. And $174. So 5 Walking Dead comic books. I believe it. Yeah, you ain't joking. The whole Rogues Gallery's here. Starting with this smarty pants right here. Yes, we are still going strong, you know. So here's the other one. Don't know what this one is. So we will find out together. All right. Okay. Wow. A lot of, this is slabby? Probably not, but you never know. It is a slab. I thought this was a raw book. See, so I'll get in packages. Archie Comics. Yeah. Genome accidentally has 5-hour 5-hour live streams. I'll get packages and I'll just stick them in the room, and over time they'll be in there for months, sometimes 3-4 months. And if I'm doing a live stream or something, I'll say, okay, you know what, I'll open a couple packages on the live stream. People will get a kick out of that. So most of the time I will truly have no idea what it is, but usually I'll know if it's a slab or raw comics. But in this case, it is a slab. And I thought it was raw. So let's see what we got. Oh boy. All right. Actually, yeah. So this is one of my, this is on my list for 2021. Speaking of San Diego Comic-Con. So this is the cool one. I've been after this for a while. And I figured I'd put it on my list. And a few weeks ago, I nabbed this guy. I don't remember where, but I got a really good price on it. I was excited about that. But I had no idea it was in this box. So this is San Diego Comic-Con Comics #2, Dark Horse Comics, August of 1993. The reason I wanted it, first appearance of Hellboy, Danger Unlimited and Monkey Man and O'Brien preview, 1993 San Diego Comic-Con promotional. John Byrne, Paul Chadwick, Rick Geary, Frank Miller, Mike Allred, Art Adams and Mike Mignola, Don Martin cover. This is a 9.6 with white pages. So super excited about that. I can already mark one of the 21 books for 2021 off of my list. I don't know that I'll be able to knock off a whole lot of others, but I can at least say that I've gotten one. So I'm very excited about that. First appearance of Hellboy. So that was the other one. Very cool. Happy to have it. Gray Man, I didn't mention before. Thanks for stopping in. I I appreciate it. Yeah, I know. I got a potty mouth. I think we all know that. Before I let you guys go, let's just see what else we got. That's right. 5-hour stream, patent pending. No, copyright pending, right? All right, let me see. What did Brandon say? Archie Comics, yes, you can lose your. I imagine you can get hooked on Archie Comics fairly easily. They are fun. Minnie Musings definitely likes them. You mean he's teaching during his shows? Is that what you're trying to say, Jackson? I'm not certain I understand. Brad, he's been looking at that one too. It's a good looking book. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. No bicycle girl though. First Monkey Man. I should have. No, it didn't say handsome man. It said Monkey Man. See, that's where you were mistaken, Gray Man. You got confused there. Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it, Kavi. But on that note, I am going to end this. Again, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to Comic Books NYC. His link is in the description. And if you want to enter the contest, either by making a video or by entering a comment, the link for his contest announcement video is in the description as well. So very cool. I'm excited to be able to do this. I will prize tag someone. If I'm lucky enough to win, Kavi and I will figure that out. But if you haven't, looked at his video, you need to. And if you haven't seen what he's given in the past, I would encourage you to do so, because he will create a customized AOK based upon one or more characters that you like, and it will be epic. I'm certain of that. So I just wanted to make this video just to show him my support, my love for everything that he does in the community. I had the opportunity to be on Original Art Hour with him, which was just a blast. Had a really wonderful time, and he's just a great guy. And so I believe in making support videos whenever I can for people, for channels that I regularly watch, of which I enjoy the content, and for people that are good eggs in the community. And I'd say we got a whole bunch of them. So he's certainly one of them. I would encourage you to sub him up, check out his channel if you haven't done so already. And if you're interested in getting a banging prize, or at least the opportunity to win, I would encourage you to enter into the contest as well. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you watching. And always remember, we're taking over the world one comic book at a time. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful week.